Please don't use that.
I'm gonna. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben.
And I am Kay.
Well done, we got our names right.
Yay.
Today we are reviewing a Netflix original series that dropped today. It's called October Faction.
Fashion? Faction. Monster hunters Fred and Dolores Allen tangle with evil and family drama with their teenage twins, based on the comic book.
October Faction has 10 episodes. They're about 40 minutes to 45 minutes long. It's a science fiction horror-esque based on a graphic novel
Science
series.
fiction, isn't it fantasy?
Well, according to IMDb, I would probably more fantasy, I guess.
Yeah.
Monsters, weird vampires,
Yeah.
and an interesting family dynamic. There's a lot of teenage angst and drama in this series, and I feel like I was sold something different from the trailer. I was expecting maybe something that I could watch instead of Supernatural. I've been invested in Supernatural for 15 seasons, and now we have this series. In the trailer, it looked like it was going to be a Supernatural-esque with a family involved, but I wasn't expecting as many episodes for it to get into the main story arc and to develop this kind of family story. It took about 5 episodes before it really even started to get going. And even then, it's episodes 6 and 7 are still delving into the kind of angst of the family. And then really the arc only gets going in about 8, 9 and 10.
Yeah, although having said that, I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode.
Oh.
Yeah, the first episode really had me hooked. Like, within the first few minutes, we even commented on it.
Yeah,
we were like, yeah, looks really good. This is great.
We were saying, it's quite funny, we were saying, it's really gone into the story. It's been 15 minutes. We really know everything about the world. And then it just slowed right down.
Yeah,
and it was
really,
just
really
dragged. And I was commenting, I think about the 4th or 5th episode, saying, I really wish that we'd started on episode 5. And you have to figure out what happens. As one of the writing laws or things that good editors tell writers is that it's better for the audience to figure out what's going on as you reveal it to them rather than drag the audience through the whole history. It's okay to have that arc in history and everything that you need, but sometimes you want the pacing to be much faster than it is, which is why your first page in books is so important. And the same is said with films and TV series. And this one, for me, I felt like, wow, they needed to just cut a whole bunch.
I kind of like, I was really enjoying it initially, and then I got a bit bored, and then I got a bit frustrated, and then I really kind of enjoyed some bits of it, and then it got interesting towards the end. I think I struggled with, who am I supposed to like? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? And maybe that's the whole point of the series, is to try and make you ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, I like a series where you know who you're rooting for. Not everything is black and white, because life isn't black and white. But when it's difficult to put your faith behind a team or a character or a family or people, whatever the series is trying to do, you need to be rooting for someone, unless it is a specific medium that has gone that way on purpose. But this one, it did feel like you didn't know who to root for, who the good guys were. I felt like I hated on the humans pretty much the whole time.
Oh yeah, well that's
and there were more interesting characters on the monster side of things. And it wasn't until I think episode 9 and 10 did I go, I know who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, the prosthetics are, when they are actual prosthetics, like physical pieces, they're pretty good, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, for a TV series, they're not bad. But when they do CGI, it's awful.
Yeah, really bad.
Awful.
Yeah, when the vampires do this, it's so obviously CG. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
There was a still of a monster eye that looked like they had gone rotoscoping. It looked like if I had done it, because my skill is not that level. If I I know how to do what they did that, and I only know basics. It would have gone around the eye and just kind of cut and pasted it into that. It looked like they'd done that with an eye. I'm sure it took them hours. I just wonder, what happened?
Yeah, I got the feeling that they either didn't have the budget or they didn't have the time to correct the things that were wrong. I almost got the feeling that we were watching a copy that wasn't quite rendered properly.
Yeah, except it's released, yeah.
Yeah, they hadn't quite finished the special effects edition.
So this has been released in HDR 4K in all its glory, and unfortunately sometimes that does show more of the issues.
Maybe
Like it
maybe
exposes
that's the problem.
it so much.
Yeah.
This series is directed by 5 directors, and each director has had 2 episodes to play. And I think you feel that it is a bit disjointed in direction. I feel like sometimes the characters are acting like one thing, and then the next episode they're just doing something completely different, like counter what their character had been established as.
It's difficult to buy some of the reactions, and that's not to say that's not the actor's fault at all.
It is direction.
You know, it's direction and it's writing. So, you know, the actor has to do what's on the page and what the director tells them to do. So it's not the actor's fault. But sometimes I just was like, what?
I think I'm disappointed with the series because something that I was really excited about. My thing is fantasy, science fiction, all of that. And I was really hoping that this would translate from graphic novel to TV series. Netflix love doing this sort of thing. There's a lot of information to be grabbed by books and graphic novels. There's so much rich life that you can put on page if done well. I'm not sure why they spend so much time in certain areas. Maybe that's to appeal to
As
many,
broad an audience as possible.
yeah, many demographics, because there is definitely a coming of age storyline almost. There is people who are dealing with their identity and sexualities, and they spend a lot of time on some of that without doing any spoilers. For a series that is fantasy horror that depicts that world, there isn't a lot of that world.
Yeah. It was a little bit lacking in monsters, I have to say.
Which is weird, because the stuff you see in the trailer is pretty much all the stuff you see in the 10 episodes. There's not much more than that.
Yeah, so it sounds like we really hated it, but we didn't.
No, I did enjoy what there was, and when it did get going, midway point, I enjoyed it much more. Apart from that first episode, I thought it took a long time to get where it wanted to go. But I thought once it got there, it was good. It's classic, again, this kind of, you get to the end, you're like, oh, I kind of want to know the story now.
Yeah.
Again, like what I said earlier, if we start at this point and we just have to work out what's gone on before as they show us, not tell us.
Yeah. There was an awful lot of spoon feeding.
Yeah.
An awful lot of, let's just give you a flashback in case you haven't made the connection. We're like, seriously, we get it. Like,
it did feel like there was a lot of hand-holding.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you not get this amazing reveal? Yeah, let me show you.
Like, yeah, we got it 3 episodes ago.
Put this in your mouth. Does feel like that.
Yeah.
I think the acting from the younger generation, and I feel like I'm coming down hard on them, I think their acting is not as good as the adults. Yeah. And that's because the adults in this show have been in TV series for a long time. They are tried and tested, and you feel safe with them when they're on screen.
Yeah.
With the teenagers, if you go and look at their IMDb page, you'll notice that they haven't been around for that long. That's not to say they're awful or they're bad. I think you just feel the difference in caliber.
Yeah.
And that's basically just saying that adults in this were really good.
Yeah.
There were some people when I saw on screen, I went, hey, that person, I like watching them. Whenever I watch them, I'm like, yeah, I know they're going to do a good job. And they did.
And they did.
Yeah. One of the directors is a writer who has written quite a bit of Stargate SG-1, and one of the directors directed Sanctuary, and there was a feeling of how that was created. Kind of like, once you read it, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. It kind of feels like that in certain episodes, and that's probably the ones they directed. I'm going to give this a C+.
Ooh, I'm going to give it a B-.
Let us know in the comments below what you thought about this. Were you excited to see this series coming out? When you saw the trailer, were you excited like me? Have you read the comics? I only knew of the comics, I hadn't read them. So let me know if this translated to TV series, and was it all that you were hoping it would be? Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember,
live long and Tuesday.